Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Council, congratulations on your nomination. What kind of fraud are you going to go after?
Senator, the core that I would say that we're going to go after within this division initially as we build out will be taxpayer-funded programs such as Medicaid, such as the SNAP program, and other subsidiary HHS, USDA, et cetera, programs. We will be putting our view there.
Who's going to make the decision about which of these specific types of fraud you go after?
Senator, in the course of building out investigations, we work directly with the federal investigators.
Who's going to make the decision about which specific types of fraud you go after?
Senator, with respect to this role, I believe I will be working with the Deputy Attorney General and the Attorney General to figure out how we prioritize this mountain of fraud.
So it's you, the Deputy Attorney General, and the Attorney General?
Yes, Senator.
Okay. So if you've got 10 cases of clear fraud, you and the deputy and the Attorney General will sit down and decide which ones to prosecute and prioritize?
Well, Senator, when it comes to the case level, that work happens within our line AUSAs.
Counselor, I got 5 minutes. No disrespect. You're a good guy. Answer my question.
At the programmatic level and as we build out the division, those decisions will be made with the Deputy Attorney General and the Attorney General. With respect to specific case questions,
do you already have cases in mind?
I do not have cases in mind, Senator.
Okay. So suppose we can agree. I think that the federal taxpayers, American taxpayers, put up between 50 and 90% of the money in the Medicaid program.
In a recent congressional hearing, a nominee for a key legal role faced tough questioning about how fraud in government programs would be handled. Right from the start, the focus was clear: protecting taxpayer money. The nominee explained that their team plans to target fraud in major federal programs like Medicaid, food assistance programs, and other government-funded services. These programs involve billions of dollars, making them a major focus for oversight. But the real tension came when lawmakers pushed for clarity on who actually decides which fraud cases get investigated. The nominee stated that decisions would be made in coordination with top Justice Department officials, including the Attorney General and Deputy Attorney General. Still, the questioning didn't stop there. Lawmakers pressed further, asking whether political figures like governors or high-ranking officials could be investigated if they knowingly ignored fraud in their states. The nominee responded cautiously, saying they would look at all potentially criminal behavior, but stopped short of giving direct yes or no answers. The discussion then shifted to ethical concerns. One example raised was whether a government official interfering with an independent watchdog, like an inspector general, could be considered fraud. While the nominee acknowledged it could be a conflict of interest, they emphasized their focus would remain strictly on prosecuting clear criminal violations. Finally, the conversation touched on how poverty statistics are calculated and whether manipulating those numbers or ignoring misleading data could be considered fraud. The nominee drew a line between what is illegal and what may simply be unethical, acknowledging that not everything questionable rises to the level of a crime. Throughout the hearing, one theme stood out: the challenge of defining fraud versus unethical behavior and who gets held accountable. Here's the simple takeaway. This hearing was about more than just fraud. It was about responsibility. Lawmakers want clear answers on who gets investigated and whether powerful people are held to the same standards as everyone else. Meanwhile, the nominee is emphasizing that only clear criminal actions, not just questionable decisions, can be prosecuted. In short, not everything that seems wrong is illegal, but that doesn't mean it's not a problem. Stay informed, stay engaged, and we'll keep breaking it down for you without the spin.
His Medicaid program, but he ignores it because he would lose all this federal money. Is that fraud?
Senator, I think that's a form of fraud, waste, and abuse. Whether it fits within the contours of criminal culpability,
is that the sort of thing you're going to look at?
Senator, as referenced earlier, we will be looking at the full scope of fraud.
Answer my question, Counselor. Is that the sort of thing you're going to look at?
Senator, I do plan to look at the full range of potentially criminally culpable actors.
Let's suppose, are you familiar with an inspector general?
Yes,
I'm sure you are, because you're a good lawyer. Let's suppose, and you're aware, I'm sure, that inspectors general act independently of a cabinet secretary under the law. I think it's 5 U.S.C. section 417 can only overrule an inspector general if what that inspector general is doing is dramatically hurts the U.S. interests or some sort of pretty language like that. Let's suppose an inspector general comes in and a cabinet secretary or a senior official says to an inspector general, I want to know what cases you're investigating. And you have to tell me. And if any of them are going to impact me in terms of my reputation, I'm going to pull you off of them. Is that fraud?
Senator, I would see that as a form of conflict of interest to the extent that that'll look bad for the cabinet secretary.
I know that. Is that the sort of thing you're going to get involved in?
Senator, I will be focused on criminal prosecutions. That will be my focus in identifying fraudsters operating, taking money.
Let's suppose the Census Bureau tells you that 11% of the American people are poor, and we get to decide the definition. But we're going to exclude about 80% of the federal benefits that we give to folks in determining this 11%. So that instead of 11%, we really have only 1% of the American people that are below the poverty level. Is that fraud? Is it fraud if a cabinet secretary knows that and doesn't do anything about it?
Senator, there are a range of criminal tools that the Department of Justice can bring to bear.
Is that fraud?
Fraud in the classic sense of executing a scheme to defraud a government program, probably not.
Is it right?
No, it is not right.
Is it moral?
No, it is not, Senator.
Is it ethical?
Senator,
Does not seem ethical to me, Senator.
Thank you for your indulgence, Mr. Chairman.
Senator Ronald.